Fantasy, football, fantasy,
Oh my God.
football, fantasy. If you like football and you like fantasy,
I missed it.
football, fantasy.
There it is.
There it
for the
goes.
drop.
Oh my God. Back at him. I missed it.
It's a fantasy journal that you gotta see.
Hi, Josh.
What's up, Luke?
How are you?
Good. I'm ready. Football's tomorrow.
Oh, the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, who is it? Bears?
Oh, I have no idea.
I think it's I don't think anyone knows. Hall of Fame game.
I honestly have not been paying attention.
Bears
to,
and Ravens. Wow, nobody gives a shit. Cool.
Bears and the Ravens. Wow. Oh, maybe Lamar Jackson will get some reps.
He'll
though.
play. Yeah, he'll play for sure, right?
Right?
He'd have to. They're not gonna they have 5 games each, so they're not gonna play like anybody.
That's true.
I gotta pick my team before tomorrow.
Pick your team.
Yeah. Are we doing the fantasy football? When is that happening?
We're not picking them for preseason.
Oh, yeah. When are we doing it though? We don't even know.
For which thing though?
For our league, for our internet.
I know, we gotta talk to Brutal Juice and see what happens.
I know Brutal Moose needs to freaking get his commissioner ass in gear. Let's do this thing, Brutal Moose.
I know you're watching, Brutal Moose.
I know he is. He always watches. He's definitely watching.
Definitely here right now.
For sure.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, I got a new laptop today.
Today? What'd you get?
Like it came in today. I just got a newer 13-inch MacBook.
Oh, nice.
But it's like so fast that
yeah,
like,
your
it
other
actually
one was
run stuff.
Yeah, your other one was getting a little sleepy.
I'm still recording the show on the old one because I forgot to get a adapter because everything on the new MacBooks is only USB-C.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
So I got to get a adapter. But next week we'll be live and ready to rock.
I got a laptop too, but I'm not on it right now.
Well, your PC is way better.
Yeah. It's also not a Mac laptop. No more Macs anymore for me, unfortunately.
They're just so light and easy, and my stepbrother works there, and I get 25% off. So.
That's pretty sweet. I wish my stepbrother worked at a place. I don't even have one. Wait, I think I do have one.
Do you?
My dad's married a lot of ladies, so I can't keep track of these things.
Uh-oh. No comment.
No comment, yeah.
Oh, man. So I got to ask you.
Yeah.
How have you been since February
4th?
How have you been? I mean, we have not talked to each other since then for the sake of this content. Oh, no, we talked to each other at the draft.
Yeah, we were talking to each other at the draft. I've been good. It's August 1st, and I'm wearing a winter Eagles hat because the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and I can do whatever the fuck I want. I was talking to Buke today online. He was tweeted something about the Lions fans being like really optimistic or whatever.
I saw that,
and that was like a perfect summation of I think the offseason as an Eagles fan is like now we won the Super Bowl, so no one can. We have, like he said, the receipts to back up the holier than thou-ness, right?
Yeah.
I've watched the Super Bowl a couple more times. I just recently watched the NFC Championship again because I was getting real heated about the Vikings because I don't like them now because they're a bunch of whiny babies. And yeah. So, and I've been reading the Deadspin articles.
Oh, of course.
So why your team sucks. It's my favorite time of year.
Why
I love
your team sucks is chef's kiss.
It's amazing.
They find new ways to let you know why your team sucks. It's great.
So I was reading the Colts one and I was like, oh my God, this one's great. But I can't wait till the Eagles one, but I'll have to wait for like ever because they're at the end.
Oh, is that how they actually do it in an order?
Yeah, they do it in order.
I thought they just kind of. I feel like writing about this team today.
No, they do it in order, so it's pretty fun.
Learn something new every day.
Have you been? Have you watched the Super Bowl more?
I haven't like sat down and like watched it.
Yeah.
But I have, partaken in some clip watches.
Yeah, clips are good.
And it's not because I don't want to watch it again. It's just that there's just moments I like to look at, and rather than watching the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Then I have to like sit down, and it's a thing.
You gotta get popcorn. I get nervous.
I would watch it before the season starts.
Yeah, no, I would. I have it. I have a version where it's Meryl Reese over the gameplay.
Oh, nice. Is that on the official thing? And then like the separate audio track?
No,
because they did that for the Phillies World Series.
Did they? Okay,
I
just stole it off the internet.
Okay. The Phillies World Series, like, there's a separate audio track that has local coverage.
That's
so
cool.
Instead of having to listen to Joe Fuck, I get to listen to Henry Callis.
Yeah, well, the Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth call was a little tame. It was a little. I think they had a party the night before. They were a little sleepy. They were a little like, and the game's over.
How about Michaels?
Eagles win the Super Bowl for the first time. Like, it's no big deal.
It was a big deal for America.
Dude.
When was the last time America was good?
It was. Then we had to come back to reality, and we were like, "Oh, it sucks still." Football. It's really like the Gladiators. We got fucking distracted for a couple months, and we were like, "Oh wait, everything's terrible. Where's my free bread?" It sucks. Everything sucks. But
well, at least we'll have a 25-week distraction.
Yeah,
going on. So welcome everybody in the chat. I see we got some longtime listeners hanging out again. Mel is back.
Mel's back. Oh, Jesus.
Andrew Jadzik is back.
Jadzy.
Kevin Cole making an appearance tonight. And here we go. We got a first time in a long time. Peter Helene.
Peter.
All right. Peter. Thanks. Welcome. We're gonna do a lot of cool stuff this season. As you can see, the studio here is different. Still in progress. I just moved, so
you live like far away from me now.
I do. I live far away from you now, but I have my own office in the new place.
Oh my god!
So no more drunk Sarah walking by.
Oh, that was the best part of the show.
No more JB interruptions.
Second best part of the show.
No awkward chandelier.
Well, I miss your I'm pointing at with my mouse, like you can see what I'm pointing at because I'm I'm an old man. I miss your plethora of toys in the back.
Well, that's coming back.
That's coming back. Okay.
And I'm actually not even sure if where I have the desk here, like facing a window, is going to be final. I may move it. But
you have a window in front of you?
It's here, and then I'm on a wall. But I don't know what
turn your desk around. Well, that's what I would do.
I gotta wait and see how the mood fits.
You gotta be like an executive and be like, and you smoke your cigar and like, That's how I don't have any windows because I'm a nobody.
Yeah, there's windows in your place.
I'm in the office though. I don't have windows.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah.
It's fucking dark.
So yeah, we'll get some stuff up in here. I might get like a big Eagles banner for the back for the stream. Right now, I think I only have I have some Flyers one, but I'm not putting that up for a fantasy football show, am I? No.
I was gonna wear my Wentz jersey. I got one of the last Color Rush Wentz jerseys. They were on sale for like $70, and I was like, all right, so I bought one. So I was gonna wear that, but it's a little warm out today in Pennsylvania. It's like 110 degrees out today.
It's a little hot, yeah. Just to answer the question here for you, Jads, I rent, so I can't paint things.
Oh, paint it like purple, dude.
So this is the house will be white. There will be art up soon. There will be toys up soon, and yeah, we're gonna have new sponsors this year.
No.
new sponsors, which brings me up to the first point. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Podcast 2018 preview part 1.
Oh my God.
Brought to you by Lowe's. Never stop improving your team. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you improve your fantasy football team.
What a fucking segue. We're off to hot fire right now. This is the best episode we've ever done. And we couldn't even figure out how to make Google work 2 seconds ago. So.
Google is often not on the favor of the people who use it.
It's very unreliable.
Unless you're Alex Jones. If we were InfoWars,
we get all this
stuff. Be a problem.
Sorry.
The frogs are gay.
The frogs are turning freaking gay.
Ah, man. Good times. Okay, so, hey, welcome again, everybody. It's a new season. It's a new season for you. It's a new season for a lot of teams. The off season was buck wild.
It was real dumb. That's for sure.
A lot of dumb stuff happened, and I'm glad that in tonight's thing we're taking a look at the AFC West because I'm sure Josh has a lot he wants to talk about with regards to the Oakland, soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders.
How did you know that? How did you know that I did want to talk about that?
Because I know you very
It's like
well.
You do. It's like you've known me for like 10 years, and you know what gets me mad and stuff, which is like everything.
But the best part of this show is that's going to be coming up at the end because we want you to stick around. So we have a whole bunch of other crap filler to get through.
All filler, no killer.
Like the AFC North. Oh man! But why don't we just get started? We did have some technical difficulties, so we got to try and speed things up and get back on track so we can still get you guys out of here by 10 o'clock.
So you can think about your teams.
We like to give you that 90-minute show, which is really key. We think that's the
right amount of time.
So during these preview sessions, by the way, we're just strictly focusing on the preview teams that we're talking about. There's not going to be any waiver wire stuff because the season hasn't started yet. There's no monster games of the week because that stuff hasn't started yet.
Right.
And this is basically going to be snapshot looks at the key players, at the key positions at every team. So we're going to look at the QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and every team is also going to have a sleeper.
I like the sleeper pick. It's fun.
Yeah, so we're going to look at the positions, let you know what we think they're going to be like this fantasy season, and give you a bit of an idea of how your team could be constructed with the following tips. And then when it's all done, the Wednesday before Week 1's Philadelphia Eagles and Atlanta Falcons game, we will be back for real with everything you could want. We're going to roster bait the hell out of you.
Roster bait? Man, I can't. I love roster baiting. I roster bait at least twice a day.
I'm just going to let that sit. I mean, it was
kind of jokes you get here.
Well, we're going to get things kicked off here in the AFC North. We're going to start with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, everyone's favorite AFC North team.
Everyone's favorite AFC North team to hopefully get somebody good from, right? Like you always want somebody from the Bengals on your team.
Yeah.
There's always that one guy that's like, this is Andy Dalton's year.
Right.
But it's never Andy Dalton's year.
It's Andy Dalton's year up until like week 5. And then he's Andy Dalton again. And you're like, all right, that was fun. That was a good month of Andy Dalton.
I'm speaking of Andy Dalton. Look at these segues.
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. So quarterback for the Bengals this year.
Yeah.
The position is Andy Dalton. Last year, he finished as the 17th quarterback, according to ESPN standard PPR.
So he's right in the middle. He's middle ground.
He's middle of the pack. And just if you're new to the show, if you haven't hung out for a while, just remember that we always use ESPN standard PPR scoring when talking about players. And that's what we use when we get to our own fantasy picks, which you guys are going to get to be involved in during the real season. But that's a little bit down the road, getting ahead of myself. But I just want to preface it that everything will always be ESPN standard PPR.
Nice.
So last season, Andy Dalton. Pretty shitty.
Yeah, he didn't have a very good one.
No, he put up 2 games where he scored 20 points or more.
That's not a lot.
So with a quarterback on your team, if you're not getting at least 20 points, 18 to 20 range is where you need to be. You're not good.
Yeah. I think I have him. I always feel like I have Andy Dalton for some reason, and I always feel like I get rid of him because of his Andy Dalton-ness. Don't think I ever I've had him in the past in other leagues, and I've definitely dropped him just because it falls off a cliff. He like Thelma and Louise is right off that cliff, man.
Well, you see what happened. Like you forget to get a quarterback, or you're waiting on a quarterback. Yeah. All the rest of them go, and then right around like round 8, you're like, Andy Dalton's still there.
That's Andy Dalton. You're like, Andy Dalton's here? Oh, well, I mean, he's Andy Dalton. That's your thought process.
Andy Dalton has not been a top 10 fantasy quarterback since 2013.
That was 147 years ago.
So just think about the amount of games that have been played over the last 5 years.
Yeah,
where people depended on Andy Dalton.
That makes me sad. That makes me feel really sad inside.
So, needless to say, if Andy Dalton is on your radar, take him off.
Yeah, he's like a backup, like in week 13 when you are on your one quarterback's on a bye and then your other quarterback dies in a car accident. That's when you should pick up Andy Dalton. Hopefully nobody dies in a car accident and I don't look like I just cursed somebody.
So we got a nice little comment here. This is from Jads. When we were in Cincy taking a riverboat tour as we passed the Bengals stadium, the guide told us we call them the Cincinnati Roadkill when they are away because they are dead on the road.
That's your tour guide is scoring that kind of burn on a tour. Your team's not doing too good. That's true though. They're terrible on the road.
Yeah, well, remember the one year they made the playoffs and then they got destroyed by the Texans.
That's every year they make the playoffs. That was like the third. Was that no? That was the Chiefs. That was like the 30-0 or whatever. That was bad.
All right. So at running back this year,
okay.
The lead back is Jolton Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Last year he finished 34th in the running back standings, which isn't awful.
No, it's not because every team has like 3 running backs.
But you start typically 2, right? So you figure at least 20 are out there. So that's in the RB3, RB4 range.
Yeah.
But he wasn't very exciting.
He was supposed to be amazing. I mean, I think that's the problem with like the draft hype that doesn't translate to real life. Then is like everyone's like Joe Mixon, he's gonna be great. The Bengals really need him, and then he just becomes sort of like a serviceable guy who just kind of has some kind of good games, but fantasy wise, like I wouldn't like pick Joe Mixon at up for any reason unless I have a bad running back year, which everyone always has a bad running back year.
True. True. And we know Gio Bernard is still there, and he's going to get his. He's great PPR. He's kind of like that RB5 kind of guy.
Well, Hill is gone, right? So Hill's on the Patriots.
So it basically is like Mixon and Bernard.
Yeah, so maybe he'll be a little better.
And given the chance to be the full lead back now for an entire season, is there potential? Sort of, but there's still the Bengals.
Yeah.
Still play in the North, which is one of the
tougher
rushing league or divisions. Yeah,
and what's his name is still the coach. So
miraculously,
somehow Marvin Lewis hung on.
That guy is he's
unkillable.
Dirt on someone somewhere.
He's got a DVD sitting in a vault somewhere of the Cincinnati Bengals owner like blowing a horse or something. I think I'd rather the horse blowing come out than have Marvin Lewis as my coach for the 312th year in a row. God,
maybe this is the year.
that he finally wins a playoff game. Oh,
Yes.
thank God. Oh my God, I can't wait.
Well, if they do win a playoff game, it's going to come down to the play of wide receiver AJ Green.
Yeah, now that's one you want. Now you want an AJ Green on your team.
Yes,
my grandfather. Now that's the guy you want on your team.
Last year he finishes the 10th wide receiver, even with the lame duck Red Rocket throwing him the ball.
Impotent Red Rocket.
Season to season, AJ Green has been tremendously consistent. You can consider him a true wide receiver one.
Mm-hmm.
But game to game, he is not very consistent.
Right.
He always manages to put up a great season. But then you'll look, and there are games where he puts up like 3 points.
Yep. That's the Bengals.
Right? That's the Bengals. And that's the shame of it, because AJ Green has that, ability to stretch the field, score touchdowns, rack up receptions, rack up the yards, just give you points in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are just weeks where he completely vanishes off the face of the earth.
That's because it's Dalton, right? Or if it's not Dalton, it was AJ McCarron, who is now a Buffalo Bills.
Oh yeah, well he'll be setting the table for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But so AJ Green always draftable, always reliable. But I don't know if you could bet your whole season on him.
No, I would pick him as like a starting wide receiver, like you said, a 1. I would go for like a 2, in hopes that I would be getting someone like, obviously, the higher up picks like Antonio Brown. Like that would be great. That's a great combination. Hopefully he doesn't Amari Cooper too much again.
Hey, Amari Cooper, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Don't
jump the gun.
Sorry.
All right. At tight end, Cincinnati has some players, but the only one that anybody ever seems to talk about is Tyler Eifert.
Tight ends are really hard to talk about if they're not the 3 tight ends that are really good. If they're not the 3 tight ends, Gronk,
Kelsey,
and Ertz, which I'm throwing in there.
Throw him in there. He had a great year.
Fucking don't. It's like, who knows, right? Who even knows?
No, but Eifert had one season where he was legit, and everybody thinks that he can get back to that. But he has not even played 50% of the game. He's played 39 out
horrible.
of 80 possible games.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
Now, granted, he's had a lot of horrible injuries, and like I understand. It's not like the guy's just like sitting on the sidelines.
No,
like, fuck you, I'm not playing.
Yeah,
right. But he's super risky. He's the modern day Jordan Reed, if you will.
Jordan Reed.
Where he can put up those numbers. Yeah, but he's never healthy.
Yeah. Tight ends are tricky like that. They're weird. They're finicky. They're like, you think like tight end, right? Like guys who go out, catch some balls. Everyone's catching like pretty much the same amount. But I think we're seeing like the cream rise from the top with that position, and people like the Eagles using tight ends like crazy in crazy ways. Like we're seeing like how the tight end position is changing again, like it did like in the early 90s, where like Keith Jackson was like just a big wide receiver. Right. Now we're seeing like them be like just another wide receiver, like even more so.
These guys line up in the slot more than ever now, and then people just leave a blocking tight end in.
Yeah,
and then you see teams that have like 3 or 4 tight ends on the roster because they see what the Patriots did when they had 2, and then they're like so late to adopt. There's the cream.
Yep.
And then there's a little bit of a second tier.
Yeah.
A small second tier.
Who would you say is like second tier?
Well, I'm not going to say by person, but there are wide receivers who will put up 50 receptions, 500 yards, and score 3 or 4 touchdowns, right? There are those guys, and there's a lot of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys don't typically win you fantasy football.
No, you got to get big numbers.
Right.
It's all about crits. Big numbers, crits.
Right. With that in mind, it's time to think about the sleeper for the Cincinnati
Oh.
Bengals.
Not just the fans who like the Bengals who are going to fall asleep during the games.
Wow.
We're back. Fantasy football.
Josh got the show name right.
Yes.
So our sleeper this season is a little bit of a controversial sleeper for the Cincinnati Bengals. Is wide receiver Tyler Boyd.
Okay.
Now he doesn't have a lengthy list of accomplishments for this team. In fact, he's also had problems with the coaches. He's just been outright benched just for disagreeing with his role on the team.
I like this pick already.
There's just so few guys on this fucking
team. I would say it says John Ross. He was supposed to be like a real hot draft pick, and I think you see he suffered from what every wide receiver who is great in college who comes into the NFL seems to suffer, is that the NFL is really fucking hard.
Yeah. Wait, was it John Ross or John Brown that has sickle cell?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Whichever one used to be on the Cardinals.
Oh, John Brown. John Brown.
Okay.
John Ross is he's got drafted by the Bengals.
Okay. Yeah, because Brown changed team this year. He's not on the Cardinals anymore.
Okay. There's too many Johns on that team anyway.
Yes. But Tyler Boyd is potentially the slot receiver. So you're looking at that guy that can fill in tight end things if Eifert's out, because the guys that are backing up Eifert on this team are terrible.
Yeah.
And you brought up John Ross, but the rest of the competition for targets on the team is weak. You have AJ Green, and then it's Brandon LaFell and John Ross and Tyler Boyd. Those are the guys in the mix.
If I was a Bengals fan, I wouldn't be too happy right now. I wouldn't be like, yay, go Bengals. It's not looking good. Sorry, Bengals.
Sorry, boys. But the Bengals may not be as sorry as the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, they don't play in Baltimore, so the Bengals do it. No.
Led by quarterback Joe Flacco, if you could call that leading. Last year, he finished as the 24th quarterback.
That's bad.
In ESPN standard scoring. Just so you know, there are only
32
teams. I had to burp. There are only 32 teams in the NFL.
Yeah. I like how your stats here. I don't want to jump ahead, but for touchdowns, you have abysmal touchdowns.
Abysmal touchdowns. I think he threw 18 compared to 13 picks. So your plus minus on the point differential on fantasy scoring, awful.
Not good. You're not maximizing
You're not min-maxing.
You're not min-maxing. Exactly.
Flacco hit the 20-point threshold just once last year.
Woohoo!
The passing game was just atrocious in Baltimore last year. The rushing game was slightly better, but the passing was so bad. Flacco had almost no yards. And since winning that Super Bowl, he has proven that he should never have been paid again.
He's a Ravens quarterback who won the Super Bowl. That's Trent Dilfer, Joe Flacco. They don't care. I guess they don't care about having quarterbacks that can win you games.
Well, you say that, but Lamar Jackson is lurking
there.
He's lurking. So we'll get to Lamar Jackson in a minute, because he might be talked about elsewhere in the Baltimore Ravens section.
I wonder where. I don't know.
All right, at running back, Alex Collins surprisingly had a pretty good season. Finished 21st in running backs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's top tier.
That's good.
Startable. He's only a first and second down back. He's pretty useless in PPR.
Yeah.
All 6 of his touchdowns came in the last 7 weeks of the season.
So pick him up late when the Bengals are toast.
I don't know if that says more about him finally getting his legs right,
maybe,
and getting this scheme finally, or if Baltimore was kind of finally figuring out how to score.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
They needed something.
But he's a pounder, man. He's a guy that can just get yards, and he can get yards after contact.
Yeah, he's got a lot of highlight. I remember watching ESPN and seeing him come up on like the top plays a bunch. He's fun to watch. He's got the long hair still.
I don't know if I haven't seen them in camp. You know,
that's all I care about, Luke, is how long their hair is in camp.
That's
true. How the off season has been so far. How long is his hair?
How long is his hair?
Let's look it up.
At wide receiver, taking the place of I guess Anquan Bolden,
sure,
Mike and Mike Wallace,
whoever they had for a year last year.
Michael Crabtree.
I totally forgot this was even a thing until I read it right now.
Michael Crabtree, abandoned by John Gruden.
Oh, here we go.
But snapped up immediately by the younger Harbaugh brother. Last year, he finished 30th as a wide receiver, which, again, not terrible when you consider 30th in most teams have 2 wide receivers. He's sort of good, but not great. You know, talk about wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 area.
Right. Oh, Amari Cooper wasn't doing jack shit last year, so he was getting a lot of...
Cooper did finish below Crabtree in total points, yes.
Well, he had that, like, 5 touchdown game or whatever. That might have
that was like it.
That was all he did.
You know, Crabtree, you know, when he was in San Francisco, he showed he has the potential to be a Bolden-esque wide receiver. You know, he will get the yards and he will get the receptions, but you're going to need somebody else to score. He's 31 this year, and Flacco is on the decline at like 33, 34 in that range.
Yeah.
So
sitting the old Eli Manning.
You know, I don't. He will be the number 1 receiver on the team, but just because a guy's a number 1 receiver on a team doesn't mean you need to add him to yours.
Right.
Like we're talking about if you have a 12-14 team league, Crabtree's probably on your team. You're in a 10-team league. Like the only reason you're picking up Crabtree is because everybody else is on the IR.
Yeah. And someone sold you a bridge in Brooklyn. And you were like, oh my God, I got to have this Crabtree fellow.
Crabtree. All right. At tight end, taking the place of busted hip Dennis Pitta and
the guy with the best porn star name in all of football,
Ed Dixon,
Hayden Hurst.
Hayden Hurst.
That is a fucking porn star ass name if I've ever heard one.
A rookie this year. As we know, Joe Flacco can't throw it to anybody else but tight ends.
Yeah.
You know, Dennis Pitta, when he was healthy, was a very, very good tight end in receptions wise. They may not have scored a lot of touchdowns, but whatever. Baltimore is one of those teams that I was saying they have 3 other tight ends currently on the roster.
Right.
So that's 4 tight ends.
Yeah. Who's going to be the tight end?
Who's going to be the tight end? You know, Hayden Hurst is a rookie they drafted with a high pick.
Right.
So it makes sense that he would be the guy. But again, I think this is like tight end 2, tight end 3 material. Like,
plus you're dependent on Flacco, which
you know. But again, you might see in the first 2 weeks that all he's doing is throwing to Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, it might be it.
It's time to pounce, right?
Right. That's tough. It's a tough gamble. I'd stay away. I mean, I don't know. Rookie at tight end.
Rookie tight ends can be successful, but it often takes them a few weeks.
Yeah.
Like you saw last year with Evan. Who was the Giants guy they got?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know his name, but I know. I remember when it happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's this?
The last few weeks of the season, he just was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. All right, and our sleeper pick for the Baltimore Ravens. Get a load of this, Lamar Jackson.
Wow, you think he's gonna? What do you think is gonna happen, Luke? You think Flacco is gonna get hurt, or do you think he's gonna die of old age?
Do I think Flacco's gonna get? No, I think Joe Flacco has a very short leash.
Really?
I think the Baltimore is very interested in accelerating Lamar Jackson's table.
Yeah, they traded up for him, right? They were like, they wanted him. They went and got him. So
yeah, they went and got him. And you know, here's the thing: Marty Mornhinweg is one of the coaches down there now.
Where was he? Where has he been?
My dude loves mobile QBs.
He does.
And Lamar Jackson has the raw talent to fit exactly into that Marty Mornhinweg, like, I can make you good to great,
right,
kind of coaching. You know, Mornhinweg is a terrible head coach.
Yeah.
Excellent OC.
Yeah, he was on the Eagles for a while.
Yeah,
he was the Eagles OC. He's the Andy Reid bullshit, all that Andy Reid shit.
Yeah, so I would say if you were looking to just be sneaky and your roster has the room for like a third quarterback.
Oh no.
I would stash Lamar Jackson. But holding a third quarterback is like kind of risky.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, I would recommend not that.
But I'm saying he's a dark horse on his team to help you late in the season.
I like how you wrote Flacco needs to win or else.
Or else.
Fucking Joe Flacco.
They're not gonna take much more of him, I don't think.
Yeah, they've been pretty quiet the last couple of years, and Baltimore doesn't really like to be that quiet. They like to stand up to the Steelers. Like, their defense is every bit as tough as the Steelers, and that's a very intense rivalry, and they like to win. So I think you might be right about that.
Moving right along to terrible AFC teams.
Yay! AFC North is so fun.
We have the Cleveland Browns. This is why I did it first. I just want to get them out of the way. I want them out of here.
I like how Jad's asked on Twitter if we could name all of the teams in the AFC North and AFC West. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh, the Bengals. I was like, all right, the Bengals. I forgot about the Bengals.
I made it through the North, and I made it 3/4 away through the West. Yeah. And I forgot the Broncos.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and
that other team.
I was like, fuck, who else is a Western team? You got me, Chads. Yep. You got me.
Yep, it happens. Oh, here we go. This is a hot take right here.
Hot take. Who's hot take? All right, the Browns.
Is your hot take.
Quarterback. All right, so Tyrod Taylor's probably very likely to start the season for them.
Sure.
You know, even if it's just 4 games, I think he's going to make it pretty far. I like Tyrod Taylor. I think he's a good quarterback because he doesn't lose you games. Yeah. And that's the biggest problem the Browns have had is quarterbacks who lose them games.
Yeah, he doesn't throw for a lot of yards, but he doesn't fuck up a whole bunch.
Exactly.
So he's sort of just like
his
like number
very
16.
Few turnovers. You know, he was the 16th best quarterback last year, right? You know, but that's just because he didn't have a lot of points,
right?
You know, but he kept the Bills in a lot of games,
right,
last year. Additionally, he has over the last 3 years the only quarterback with more rushing yards and rushing touchdowns is Cam Newton.
That's crazy.
He's got something like 1,500 yards rushing over the last few years.
Who would I have had? Who, if I had to guess who was second, who would I have said? I don't know. I wouldn't have guessed Tyrod Taylor. Maybe Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe he scrambles, but he doesn't scramble that much anymore, right?
I just don't feel like there's a whole lot of like that going on right now.
I mean, it could have been Kaepernick, but
yeah, it could have been.
You know, nobody wants to give that guy a job.
Oh, I would have guessed Deshaun Watson. That's who I would have guessed.
Deshaun Watson,
right?
On one leg.
Well, when he was doing stuff.
He was just a rookie, so you know. Anyway, I like Tyrod Taylor. If you're strapped, I think he makes a good fit. Oh, do I still have this old phone call open between us?
Oh, I hope so.
Yes. Whoopsin. I was like, what is this other video screen? Okay. Now, of course, you cannot talk about a Browns quarterback without talking about the number 1 pick.
He'll be in.
Baker Mayfield, right?
They'll put him in. He'll be in. They'll put him in.
He's going to play regardless of record or Tyrod Taylor's performance. Mayfield is going to get in. He was drafted for a reason.
Browns are going to Browns, man.
The Browns are going to Browns, but Mayfield has an arm.
Mm-hmm.
He's got good legs.
He's small, though.
And he's played at a program that can make quarterbacks look really good in college.
Oklahoma, right?
Yeah. I think he will be decent. It's still the Browns.
I don't know. I just don't even.
It's still the Browns.
Unless some crazy shit starts happening, I'm not picking Tyrod Taylor or Baker Mayfield. Unless some.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not always going to have like the best picks.
No, for sure.
So, this is just your options.
These are your options. I understand.
Yes.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Now
I'm like the devil on your shoulder. I'm like, don't pick him.
There's the Browns have an interesting situation because at running back and quarterback they have two players that could go any way.
Right.
At running back they have former San Francisco 49er Carlos Hyde, who was the 8th best running back last year.
Yeah.
Sneaky top 10 guy
for the 49ers.
Yeah. And Duke Johnson Jr., who was the 11th best running back.
And that he was on the Browns.
And Duke Johnson basically plays one down.
That's crazy.
He's basically a third down back, and that's it. So, Carlos Hyde, reliable, consistent. He definitely puts up the yardage, but he's not explosive. He rarely has those 150, 120-yard games. But he'll grind you. He'll put up the points. I mean, he was 8th running back last year, and if you would have told me to name the top 10 guys, I would have not named him.
No, I definitely. That's very surprising.
Now, Duke Johnson, third down back, but he put up enough points in PPR, which is about the only place where you would really get someone like Duke Johnson, to become the 11th best running back in the league. But he lives and dies by that, and especially now that the Browns brought in Carlos Hyde. They also drafted Nick Chubb. Is it possible Duke Johnson's role is even further minimized?
Yeah.
Who's to say? But
yeah, we'll see. I mean, they might be running a whole lot anyway.
He is the only person there that really knows the offense right now too. So, I could see them leaning on him a little bit. Hugh Jackson has said that he's going to try and get him in there a bit more. But that's good. You had these two other guys. Like, what are you going to do? There's only so many carries, especially when you're the Browns and you're not on the field.
Right. When you're not scoring, you're not making drives. Like, it's tough. Yeah, it's the Browns. I mean, it's cats and dogs living together. It's a complete anarchy there. Like, who even knows? Like, I have no idea. I don't know. The Browns, man. I don't know.
At wide receiver, we have the young Jarvis Landry, fresh out of Miami town.
Way to go. I went from Miami, Florida, maybe the most beautiful city in the country, to the second most beautiful city in the country, Cleveland, Ohio.
It's Queen City. No,
is that what it is?
No, that's Cincinnati.
That's Cincinnati, yeah.
All right, so he finished last year as the 5th best wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
That's because there was a lot of volume going his way.
Yeah.
It's possible that's a similar amount of volume will be there. And and Taylor is definitely a better quarterback than Deshaun Kaiser.
Yeah.
Not that Landry was there where Kaiser was, but they will have a quarterback who can get the ball to wide receivers.
Right. I like this pick. This one I think is, out of all the Browns, this is good because Landry last year he had Jay Cutler and the backup.
Smoking Jay Cutler
and the backup to him, the guy who looks like a 1970s porn star. I don't remember his name. So he wasn't they didn't have like a starting quarterback. And he was still getting a lot of throws and catches. So he's a good, reliable pick, I would say. Obviously, he's top 5.
Yeah, he's. I don't think you can expect the exact amount. And I think if you're going to draft Landry, like don't draft him thinking you're getting a top 5 wide receiver.
It's still the Browns.
Right.
Pump the brakes. It's still the Browns.
So, Landry is potentially the number 1 receiver, but Josh Gordon is there.
Yeah, Josh Gordon's back.
And when healthy and when good, Josh Gordon is Josh Gordon. But we'll get to Josh Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have tight end David Njoku, who finished last year as the 24th tight end.
Okay.
Which is not surprising that a Cleveland tight end finished that low.
Right.
But a lot of NFL guys are really high on him. Because of his raw talent, his athleticism. And I think you could definitely see his numbers get better because, again, Tyrod Taylor is not someone who can screw things up.
Right. He's white bread. He's going to be there when you want a peanut butter sandwich and you're hungry.
Yeah.
I think he's still like up your lunch.
3rd tier tight end, but don't be surprised if he kind of flirts with that like 2nd level.
Right.
That
tight end 2nd tier.
Yeah. And then our sleeper for the Browns is, of course, Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
It may sound strange to consider Josh Gordon a sleeper since he is a true name and everybody kind of knows who he is and associated with the Browns. But he's had some issues being in the lineup.
Right. The drug problem. I don't think
you
got to worry.
I think he's still only like 27.
Yeah.
He's still fast.
Yeah.
He's still strong. And when he's been in their lineup, like you cannot stop him. He's just that good.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's crazy.
He has such ridiculous stats in Madden even. Like
that dude, man, if he wasn't on the Browns and he didn't do all those drugs.
That's why he did all those drugs.
That's because he was in Cleveland, yeah.
My final note here on the Browns is good fucking luck.
Mm-hmm.
Good fucking luck.
Yeah.
And finally, the AFC North, we have the Steelers.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, Josh. I'll let you say what you want to say.
Pick anybody. Pick him. If Bell is there, right? Which he's holding out, correct? Right? Did he not? Did he sign?
He'll skip camp, but he'll be there.
He'll be back. All right. Yeah. Just they're the Steelers. Like Roethlisberger is gonna either be great or bad.
Yeah.
So take your pick. He'll have a couple 300-yard games, and you'll be like, he's back, and then he'll fall off the face of the earth. But Antonio Brown is who you want. That's who you want. Number 1. Pick him first. If you're first, pick him.
Yeah, especially in a PPR league. Like it's Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell are pretty much 1-2 to me.
It's been a long ass time since I've seen a player since we're very old. Luke and I are very old, and I remember when Jerry Rice played, and I remember watching Jerry Rice, and it's been a long time since I've been like, oh my god, like that guy it doesn't matter what you do. The football is around him, and he uses the force, and he catches it. It's crazy.
Yeah, and teams cover him,
like triple cover him,
and you're just like, how does he do it?
It's crazy.
And week in, week out, not only does he do great things on the football field, he does great things for your fantasy team. I had him on the fantasy team last year, and I was just I inserted him in the lineup, and I knew
disgusting.
I will win.
It's disgusting.
I will win.
It's crazy.
But don't forget, Martavis Bryant is gone.
Yeah.
And that means a larger role for one of the breakout stars from last year, Mr. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, Juju.
I cannot wait to see how many Fortnite touchdown celebration dances.
The Fortnite dances. Oh, boy. Fortnite.
Yeah, I think Juju's going to be really fun to watch this season.
Yeah, he is fun to watch. It's hard not to like the Steelers wide receivers always, right? Like traditionally, they've got pretty fun wide receivers.
I don't want to root for them, right?
No, I don't either. Yeah.
When they're on, because of where we live regionally, we always get a lot of Steelers games when the AFC broadcast, and you just get to see them do all these amazing things.
That's fun.
Yeah. I appreciate them.
Yeah.
And I just hope they lose.
Yeah. Unless it's against the Patriots, I could stand them beating them. But
yeah, for sure. I just meant in the grand scheme.
The grand scheme of the yeah. I don't need any more Steelers are the best PA team bullshit.
God, get out of here with that. So if you have to pick a sleeper in Pittsburgh, I'm going to go with the tight end here, Mr. Vance McDonald.
Okay.
Had a rough year with the Steelers last year. Was kind of hurt, banged up here and there, and didn't really do much till the end of the season where he started getting on the field more. Now with Martavis Bryant gone, I think there's room, but tight ends traditionally have not been a position of importance in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they're more like hard-nosed tight end, like old tight ends, like blocking, and then they catch, and then the ball hits the ground, and then they don't win the game.
Yes,
because the catch rule was crazy. But yeah, I think I've had. Well, who was it before that? Heath Miller, was he one of them? Heath Miller. They always just have a big tight end.
Jesse James.
That's the one I'm thinking of. How could I forget Jesse James, the cowboy or motorcycle guy? Yeah, that's a crazy
Jesse
pick,
James.
Though.
He of Sandra Bullock's ex.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock's ex.
That's how I refer to him.
Yeah, Mr. Bullock.
Yes, Mr. Congeniality.
Former Mr. Bullock.
Yes. All right, now we're moving right along to the AFC West.
Yeah, let's get on the AFC West.
Let's start with the Kansas City Chiefs. Big Red coaching.
The chefs.
The Red. Quarterback Pat Mahomes played just a little bit last year.
Yeah.
But when he played against Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't have the starters.
Right.
But Denver did.
Yeah.
He beat him.
I read a stat today that was he has thrown. Now, I don't put a lot of stock into this crap, but he just for argument's sake, he has thrown 7 interceptions in 6 practices.
Okay.
And so that's not very good. But again, it's training camp and all that bullshit is meaningless. It doesn't matter. At all. So right. I'm interested. I'm very curious to see what Patrick Mahomes is going to do. I feel like this is like the Nick Foles thing with in regards to when Reed was here, where you're like, all right.
Maybe. I think Mahomes has higher upside than Foles ever did.
Yeah.
And Mahomes has a lot better weapons than Reed ever gave anybody in Philadelphia, with the exception of Brian Westbrook and Terrell Owens.
Right.
We have never had offensive weapons like the Chiefs had.
Yeah.
Which brings us to their running back, sir.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Mr. Kareem Hunt finished last year as the 4th best running back.
What a crazy... I remember the first couple of weeks where just our heads were spinning. It was like, what's happening with this guy? He's fucking so good.
He's just... He didn't just like arrive on the scene, right? He didn't just announce himself with like, hey, this rookie's pretty good. He came out and was just like, boom.
3 touchdowns.
Stop me. I dare you.
It's crazy. He's real small. He's very... like he's a little smaller than Westbrook, like muscular wise, but he's real speedy, and Reed likes those running backs a lot.
He loves the dual threat, and Kareem Hunt is that for sure. Rushing, receiving. He's not Marshawn Lynch by any means in the hole, but he's also not Marshawn Lynch on the other side where it's just like you don't even use him to pass, right?
Right.
But he'll grind, man. He grinds. It's just too bad that Andy Reid doesn't like to rush the football.
No, he hates running the football in the game of football where you need to do that. Yes. We all remember that. Every Philadelphia person remembers that.
Well, it's a good thing then that he has such great receiving weapons, such as wide receiver Mr. Tyreek Hill, who
very fast.
And this surprised me just because it's been a few months since I looked at fantasy football stats. Mm-hmm. But he finished as the 8th best wide receiver.
That's pretty good.
And they have a couple different guys who get the volume out there, but when he catches balls, he catches them for a lot of yards.
He's already running past you. He's like, I have seen lots. I watch a lot of random games, and I've seen him run so fast that I've been like, I don't think I'm seeing this. This is not a real thing. This looks fake. He's so fast.
He's very fast. He's fast. And Andy Reid loves those trick plays where they do a lot of stuff with the wide receivers. So he gets some rushing attempts. He's another. I wouldn't call him a supreme dual threat. But
but
he has the ability to kind of fit in a lot of places on the field.
Yeah, there's like an end around or two where he'll break one off for a couple of yards.
Yes, and what we need to see too is what kind of rapport he develops with Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes sounds like a prank call.
Listen up, Mahomes. Jerky
boys.
But yeah, we got to kind of see because he didn't even get to play with him in the game in Denver,
right?
Because they were saving everybody for the playoffs,
which mattered for them. I mean, it really helped.
Oh, man, at least it wasn't that one year where they were just crushing Indianapolis and then they lost.
That was the year we were at MagFest. The year we were at MagFest, and we were watching it, and I was like, this is the craziest game ever. That was the first game, and then the Eagles were after, and the Eagles got killed. Well, they didn't get killed, but they lost. Chip Kelly farted the game away at the end of the game, like he likes to do.
If I may, I was listening to local sports talk radio, and
oh boy,
someone brought up a very good point, and that the real reason that game got farted away, was Kerry Williams' horse collar tackle, which put New Orleans into field goal range.
Sure. Also, that probably would have happened anyway.
I'm just saying. There was a lot of.
We can blame Kerry Williams.
There's a lot of sconces we can blame.
Yeah, I have to sit in my car and look at wall sconces.
All right, at tight end,
of course,
number one tight end on ESPN standard scoring last year, Mr. Travis Kelce, brother to the Super Bowl champion Jason Kelce.
Yeah, the mayor of Philadelphia.
Travis Kelce. I always feel like he gets dinged up during the season.
He gets hurt, but he doesn't get super hurt.
But yeah, he over the last 4 years never missed a game.
That's incredible. I would not have guessed that. I feel like because I've seen him get concussed. I've seen him. I think last year he got nailed and the stars spun around. That was one of the ones where I was like, ooh. It was a really bad hit, and I was like, ooh. I think was that the playoffs? It might have been in the playoffs. I don't know.
Playoffs.
Was that the playoffs?
Yeah, but he got smashed that one time. Yeah, I remember
he got
that.
killed.
But the dude gets volume. The dude gets touchdowns.
Yeah, pick him. If he's there, get him.
You got to get him. But he's tight end. He works out of the slot. They move him around to get him open.
Yeah,
and with all those other guys running crazy routes, he's just right there over the middle for those lovely little passes. But again, Kelce, I think will still finish as a top 3 quarterback, even with Pat Mahomes, or top 3 tight end rather. I don't know if he can repeat as number 1.
But it's going to be Ertz. So.
I think he still finishes with incredible statistics.
That would be. I'm. Oh man, I would like to timestamp this time to remember this. I would like. I'm curious. I would love to see this. I'm interested. I mean, he had Alex fucking Smith, so
yeah,
yeah.
And then our sleeper for the team, my sleeper is Pat Mahomes.
Is there a Pat Mahomes there?
There's. It's hard to say a starting quarterback should be a sleeper. I understand that, but he's unproven. Really.
Yeah, who knows?
And Andy Reid has a strong history of quarterbacks that do really well that he has drafted. Donovan McNabb, Nick Foles did well.
Yeah,
Super Bowl MVP. Right. Then you have Kevin Cobb.
Yeah.
And he drafted that one backup that was so awful.
Oh God, who was? Yeah. AJ Feely.
Hey, AJ Feely won us games, bro.
Oh man, I remember people wanted AJ Feely to start the Super Bowl, and I was like, "You're out of your fucking mind."
Yeah, AJ Feely won us games and married Heather Mitz, so he still wins.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along with the San Diego Superchargers, who are now
Los Angeles Superchargers.
Yes,
they
supercharged their way. Right.
No one's ever going to say Los Angeles Chargers, by the way. It's never going to be a thing.
When is their stadium going to be ready? Are they going to get to play in that this year? Or are they still playing in the soccer stadium that fits 15,000 people?
I don't think they're playing in a stadium. I'm sure they're playing in the home away from home dome, where all the teams who play the Chargers have a free home game every year.
Free home game. That was so great.
Because it's LA and there's like 40 billion people there, and they all are fans of other teams.
All right. Phil Rivers finished as
101-year-old man.
Finished as the 8th best quarterback.
8th best for how many children he had this year.
Whoop. He only threw 10 picks last year, which when you think about Phil Rivers, you're like, picks.
Yo, Philip Rivers is like quietly good. Like I always consider Philip Rivers if he's there, just because like he could score a lot of points just out of nowhere. He's always like a quietly just decent quarterback to have.
Here's the thing I'm going to ask you, and I'll put it to the group here.
Okay,
that's listening at home. Phil Rivers, take away Eli Manning's 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
Phil Rivers a better quarterback than Eli Manning?
I would say so. Yes, I think he's a better quarterback. I think Eli Manning is dog shit now, and he's bad, and he's probably should fucking retire. And I think Philip Rivers is still playing, and he's playing in like this horrible situation that's going on in Los Angeles now, where like that dude could have just retired. He could have just been like, I'm done. I don't want to go to Los Angeles. But he's still good. He's still fired up. Remember we played the Eagles, he was yelling at people.
He loves to get fired up.
It's crazy. He's got that Christian anger inside of him.
Christian anger. Important thing to note here, he had only 4 games last season where he put up less than 15 points.
That's a good stat.
So he was able to still put up stuff, even though Los Angeles was barely tolerable to watch.
Were horrible to watch.
Melvin Gordon at the running back position finished as the 5th best running back.
That's a crazy.
He's another guy who I would have been like not in the top 10.
No way.
But he was. Receiving, rushing, fully healthy, got it done. Last season was the best season of his career.
His first season was really bad. He had a really bad rookie season, and then he came back and he was like, "I'm good again."
You know, when you're the supposed heir to LaDainian Tomlinson,
that's tough.
And you get beat out for work by Danny Woodhead. Yeah, you know, you go back to the workshop and really start to have to put it back together for yourself.
Rebuild your psyche.
Yeah,
Danny Woodhead beat me out.
But it looks like he did it. And you know, does he have a chance to be a top 10 running back again? I think so. I think Pitt getting to the top 5 is going to be really hard. Just because year to year, the fluctuations in running backs that aren't named Le'Veon Bell are pretty dramatic.
Right.
You know,
with any running back, I feel like it's a crapshoot just because of the way football is now. It's who knows? Who even knows?
There's like 3 sure things, just like a tight end. There's like the sure things. You got Le'Veon Bell, you got Todd Gurley, who's sort of a sure thing.
Right. It's not right. He could have a bad year, and now we're talking about Todd Gurley. What's going on?
You gotta hope, and I would say David Johnson / Zeke Elliott, whichever one is actually playing that year, right? Like David Johnson was hurt, Zeke Elliott suspended.
Right.
Like those guys are good. Speaking of guys who are hurt, wide receiver Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Full season of health, put him in the third best wide receiver of the year. Over 100 receptions, over 1,300 yards, tons of TDs.
Yep. Tons of TDs.
Tons of TDs. Phil Rivers just threw it to him, and he just like Pac-Man'd everything. He's like,
he catches a lot of long touchdowns, right? Like he doesn't. Like that's what whenever I think of Keenan Allen, I think of Rivers just throwing bombs to him for touchdowns, which is always fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he'll repeat. I think you're looking at another top 5 season from him if he's healthy. Definitely a guy that I could see being your primary receiver on your fantasy football team.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Quiet. It's a quiet team, those Los Angeles Chargers.
Well, they're so quiet that they may not even have a tight end.
Who needs a tight end?
If you can believe this, Hunter Henry got hurt again.
No, Hunter Henry, my man. Who am I going to draft now if it's not Hunter fucking Henry?
And that means that they had to bribe Antonio Gates out of retirement.
Dude,
to come back
fucking believable.
And play behind Virgil Green?
Sure. Antonio Gates is the crypt keeper at this point. So I don't know. Antonio Gates, like last year, he didn't do shit. He didn't do anything. He had maybe 2 games where I was like, oh, there he is. There's Antonio Gates. Hall of Famer Antonio Gates. There he is.
So old.
Dude,
so
he's like our age.
Yeah, so if you're left with the choice of literally any other tight end or someone from the Chargers,
pick up a grocery, your local grocer.
Chargers tight end versus the field. I'll take the field.
The field
every time.
Anybody.
All right, my sleeper or our sleeper. I don't know why I keep saying my sleeper. He's our.
I mean, I had a lot of input on this.
Our sleeper, wide receiver, Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Now there is there's a bit of a bug nagging a lot of first-round wide receivers.
I was just talking about this
these past few years, and
not great.
A lot of them come in with much hype and aren't able to do anything. And it's kind of what happened to Mike Williams last year.
Mike Williams was like, I mean, before all the Wentz shit, Mike Williams was coming here to Philly, right? Like that. They were like, oh my God, Mike Williams, get him.
But he did not have a good season last year. However, he has a lot of comparables to Mr. Alshon Jeffrey.
There you go. Weird.
So I think that he has a chance for a bounce back.
On the Eagles.
On the Eagles. No, I think he has a chance for a bounce back to be a great number 2 to Keenan Allen. So,
I like when wide receivers put it together. It's got to be a shock to them because college football is just so ridiculously unfair. If you're an athletic, fast wide receiver, you'll score touchdowns every week in college. Like it's like nothing.
Right.
But in the NFL, it's like, oh my God, I have hand work, feet work. I gotta fake people out. I gotta look the right way. It's like crazy. You cannot fuck up. You have to just fall in line and practice, run. It's crazy. Yeah.
So we'll see. I think you have, I like to consider that because of what you're just saying, that wide receivers need unless they're supreme studs and can't miss Julio Jones-esque kind of guys, they need that year to get used to the NFL, to build up the muscle, to build up the technique. And if they can do something in year 2, even if it's just improvement at all, I think there's a chance they'll recover. But year 2, if you don't do anything, you're done. You're done because there is no recovery after that. Everybody knows that you aren't doing it. Defenses don't care about you. Yeah.
If you're not, you're offensive weapon. You need to have the other team be preparing for you because that takes away from it's field marshal shit, right? It's general shit. If you're thinking about X, you're not thinking about Y, and if you're not thinking about X, you're not useful, and they're going to cut you.
Very true. Here we go, Josh. Are you ready?
Oh, good Lord.
It's time for the Raiders.
The Raiders. Dude, fucking boomer voice. The Raiders.
The Oakland, soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, God. I forgot about that.
Are led by one Mr. Country music star, David Carr.
Yeah, David Carr.
Finished 19th as a quarterback.
I like David Carr. I liked David Carr 2 years ago. He was much better. Last year, the Raiders were real weird. They're real fluky. But I like David Carr as a he's threatening. Like if he's in your lineup, people I feel like are like, oh no, that could be a problem, you know?
Right.
Like he could like light it up for you.
He could. But he can also give you a 2017 season.
That's true. He could Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper his way to you. Now, granted, they had a not great offensive line. It's just okay. Carr, before 2017, I think he put up, a 30 touchdown season, and before that, another 30 touchdown season. So you're right. He has the ability. But now, new coach, new scheme, new everything. Nobody knows what kind of offense Gruden is going to have.
Does John Gruden know? Who knows? I mean, this to me, man, stinks of like a Joe Gibbs return to Washington, where everyone's like, yay! And then the guy's just been out of football too long. Like I know he does like QB camp. I know he like looks at plays every day and he loves football. I just don't know if it works that way anymore. I don't know. So I would be wary of the Raiders.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
For a prop bet, if Vegas had odds on John Gruden's first play in a football game being Spider 2 Y Banana, would you bet on that?
Yes. I would. He would do it just because it was funny. And what has he got to lose? Right? It's the first play of, like, who cares? Like, whatever. What's going to happen? Just run the play. I would bet that. I would take that bet.
You would take that bet?
Hell yeah.
All right.
Are you going to do it? Is there a prop bet?
Oh, I don't know. We'll come back to that.
Oh, God, I want to know now.
All right. At running back, we have Mr. Marshawn Lynch.
He's still there.
Finished the season as the 24th best running back.
Yeah.
900 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Virtually no PPR value.
No.
And he's 32 years old.
And he looks like he's 42 years old.
Yeah, but I love him as a personality.
He's so great. I do too.
I love seeing him play.
Yes.
From a fantasy standpoint, I don't think he has much left to offer.
Yeah, I mean, unless the Raiders are getting into like some like first and goals at the 2,
Sure.
But he's not catching, like you said, he's not catching balls,
No, he's not catching balls. And they brought in the muscle hamster.
Oh, yeah, they got him.
They got Doug Martin. So, yeah, they have 2 running backs in Oakland that will basically do nothing.
Basically do nothing.
24th RB, like, the only reason that Marshawn Lynch was saved as the 24th running back is because he scored 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's back down to a number like 4, or, we're talking about a guy that finishes probably outside
30.
the 30s.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think the clock has just about run out on that.
Yeah, he's about ready to retire.
Now,
probably should have done it last year.
Let's talk about one of our favorite players from 2017 season.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like the Phantom of the Opera.
I had to put my notes here. 2017, bro. Amari Cooper, the 36th best wide receiver in the NFL last year. Somehow he managed to make it into the top 40.
He had a bad year, man. He was on my team, and it was a bad year, dude. It was a bad season.
Amari Cooper was traditionally very reliable. Drops have always been a problem for him throughout his career, but he would make up for that by
scoring.
and having games where he didn't drop everything.
Right.
Last year it was like, what the fuck?
It was weird. It was like when you watch a left-handed guy come in to throw a ball to somebody who's used to catching right-handed balls. Like it doesn't work. Like they're like, oh wait, like their brain doesn't catch the ball right. And it felt like that. It just felt like the ball was just being thrown differently or so. And I don't know. I hear you say like, was it Carr or was it Cooper? Like, I don't know. Was it a ghost? Who knows, man? Was it an angel in the outfield kicking the ball away? Who knows?
Whose fault was it? But again, now we're going to see a new offensive scheme comes in.
Yeah.
They brought in Jordy Nelson to replace Michael Crabtree. They brought in Martavis Bryant from the Steelers.
I might pick Nelson over Cooper, honestly.
That's an interesting.
I would think about it. I'd be like, maybe.
Let's see. I'll tell you who I won't think about is tight end Jared Cook.
Yeah, okay, that's a fun one.
Somehow he finishes the 12th best tight end last year.
Jared Cook. Oh, yeah.
He had a career high in receptions. I think he only had like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Gruden is all over this guy's dick.
He loves him, right? Yeah, of course he does.
But look, Jared Cook, man, like he's not a sexy name. He's been in other systems where he has done nothing of note. And I'm supposed to believe that one time he makes it into the top 15 tight ends that's sustainable.
He did nothing. I think the 2 touchdowns that he had, or however, I think he had like 1 2-touchdown game, I think is what it was. I don't know if he didn't. I don't know if he finished with 2 exactly, but he had like 1 game, and I was like, oh, there's Jared Cook. Oh, right. That's the guy.
He duped everybody into picking him up off the waiver wire.
Yeah. And then the next week after that, just get rid of him. Get rid of him.
All right, our sleeper out here in Oaktown. The town. Mr. Martavis Bryant.
I like this pick. I do like this one.
I like it too because I made it, but the thing with Martavis Bryant is he's a little bit of that troublemaker.
Yeah, he'll start some shit, right?
And he doesn't seem to like. How much does he care about football?
Right.
Like he begged to be out of Pittsburgh, which is like, why would you ever want to leave?
I mean, it's like free playoffs every year. I don't know. I'd be like, I'll probably win a Super Bowl here at some point. If I stick around for 6 years, we might win one,
Did he get mad that, Juju Smith-Schuster was taking his targets?
I think that's what it was.
Did he get mad that he fucked up a few times and the team tried to hold him accountable like you do an adult?
Like a person? Yep.
Yes. He could benefit. This is why we have him as a sleeper, because he could benefit from Amari Cooper being covered.
Right.
Jordy Nelson being old. Martavis Bryant fits into that second receiver slot area, and that's just so many teams love to target that area now, that slot guy. So
it's a fun receiver position. Like I always liked slot receivers, like back when Favre and the Packers, and it was I forget the name of him now. I can picture his face, but I don't remember his name. They would throw to him a whole bunch, and it was just like, oh well, yeah, just throw to that guy all the time. He's open. So I like slot receivers when they're good. I think it's like a very underrated wider. Everyone wants the big wide receiver 1 or 2 big deep ball throw, right? But you're gonna get crazy points in a PPR league with a slot receiver who's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we're here at our last team for the night.
Oh no!
One preview, the Denver Broncos.
All right.
I mean,
let's do it.
Let's just get through it. Are you ready? All right.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Quarterback Case Keenum. Last year was 12th best quarterback.
Why not? He had an amazing year.
Amazing year. And I'll say this, and I wrote it down in my notes so I wouldn't forget, that I think Case Keenum is the absolute last name I would look at on a draft board and be like, oh shit, I can trust him to be my number 1 guy. If I get to that point and I haven't drafted a quarterback yet, then I'm like, I wouldn't feel bad about scrambling to get him.
Right.
But once he's gone, and I'm like, oh God, now what?
Yeah. Well, I think that's partially because of his years with the Rams, and he was just like nothing. And then last year he goes to the Vikings and he becomes like God.
Hey, when you get out from underneath Jeff Fisher's boot,
you're great.
You can be a productive
member of society.
A productive member of society, but you can be a productive NFL player.
Yeah.
With so much more upside.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like Jeff Fisher was a cancer on that team.
He was awful.
He was the worst. Anyway, Denver has some good weapons, and they still have a top tier defense, which means you may have short fields a lot, which means points will be more frequent.
Yep. Good point.
All right, running back.
I don't know who this running back is. What's him?
Deontay Freeman.
Oh, Deontay Freeman. Okay.
Not a receiver. He's going to be another one of those guys that's a first, second down.
Well, they got rid of everybody, right? They were like, no more CJ Anderson.
They got rid of mostly everybody, yeah. So he's got little PPR value. I think he's got little value as a RB1-2. I think he's a potential for third or fourth stash guy.
Yeah,
like hang on to him to see how they do.
Yeah,
because Case Keenum is a good quarterback. They have Emmanuel Sanders. They have Demaryius Thomas. They will be able to create space for runners.
Right.
So he has a chance to be successful if he takes advantage of it.
Yep.
At wide receiver, finishing 16th overall last year, Demaryius Thomas. He's been on a bit of a decline. His stats have gotten worse every year.
Since the Super Bowl.
But, he also hasn't had a quarterback since Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he's got like Paxton Lynch thrown to him.
So we'll see what happens with Case Keenum. He is now over 30. Emmanuel Sanders is going to be back and fully healthy. And Emmanuel Sanders just gobbles up receptions.
Yes. I like Emmanuel Sanders.
I like Emmanuel Sanders too. I think you can't go wrong with Thomas or Sanders as a pick.
I agree with that.
Again, here we have another team that is full of question marks in the AFC West.
Yeah.
With regards to tight ends.
Jake Butt. Pick him because the name is awesome.
Jeff Howerman. Since Julius Thomas left and to flee to Jacksonville.
Sure.
And then Miami? Or was it Miami, then Jacksonville?
I think it was that way, yeah. I think it was.
Whatever. The tight end has been a mystery out in this city.
Jeff Howerman sounds like somebody my uncle knows. Like, he works at the battery store, and my uncle goes to get batteries from him or something.
Okay.
That tells you all you need to know about Jake.
Yeah, neither of these guys is really worth talking about.
Yeah, I've never even heard. I know Jake Butt because it's hilarious, and I know all the funny names.
And our sleeper pick for this team is Devontae Booker.
Okay.
He's in line to be the number 2 back. He's the third down guy, just a little bit like Duke Johnson.
Yeah.
And he has familiarity with the system, familiarity with the team, familiarity with the scheme. And I think if we see Freeman not getting loose, that Devontae could easily slide into the higher usage than just on third downs.
Running backs are weird. Anything can happen with a running back. It's crazy. Like,
it is.
Who even knows? Like, it's crazy. It's almost like a daunting task to even like try to predict what running back is going to do what. I mean, Kareem Hunt might suck, right? He might suck.
Yeah, the best we can do is we can look at the information we have.
You're getting all Donald Rumsfeld on me, right?
I mean, we can look at the information we have and try to give everybody watching and listening some kind of insight. Right. And that's all like fantasy sports in general. And again, unless you get you get Brady, you get Kelsey, you get Le'Veon, you get Antonio, unless you get those guys, it's really just like, oh shit, well, who now?
I think that's why fantasy football is so popular, is because of the nature of football now is just so like, oh, who knows? Like that makes it so much more fun. If it was like fantasy football in the 80s, it was a thing, but only nerds did it, and only nerds did it because the internet didn't exist. But like also only nerds did it because like, who are you gonna pick? You're gonna pick like the same guys over and over again, like the same teams. Like now football is just, it's so much parity. Like anybody could do anything in football. It's crazy. Nick Foles could win the fucking Super Bowl and be Super Bowl MVP. That's how crazy the football league is. It's crazy.
The best quarterback of this generation.
I can't wait till we get to the NFC East and we get to talk about Nick Foles or Carson Wentz. Who's it going to be?
Well, that's going to be in the final week.
That's all.
And speaking of what's coming up next,
I set them up, you knock them down.
Coming up on Fantasy Football, the podcast. So today we cover the AFC North and West. On August 8th, we will cover the AFC South and the AFC East.
Yippee!
On August 15th. Oh yeah, get ready for that one. That was going to be exciting.
Oh man, I'm sweating just thinking about it.
On August 15th, you can find us talking about the NFC West and the NFC North.
Yeah.
On August 22nd, we will be off. I will be on vacation.
Good for you, Luke.
We'll be back on August 29th with the NFC South and the NFC East previews, the ones everyone is waiting for, the two best divisions in the NFC. And on September 5th, week one, roster baiting to get you ready for the season.
Oh yeah, I hope I get a good team when I inevitably fall asleep and miss the draft.
Other things to look forward to this year. Not this week, not next week, but by the actual start of the season, we are going to get a Discord set up for you guys.
Yeah.
We'll be able to hang out and chat in there. We are going to open up that Discord so that we can have you all take part in our weekly fantasy picks.
The votes.
So we'll have that. You guys will pick what players you guys want through Discord, and we'll have actual winners. If you can beat Josh or myself on the personal picks of the week. No longer brought to you by Pizza Hut, but maybe they will. We'll have to see how the agreements go. Contracts are still up in dispute.
Ink is drying on them right now.
And it's possible we might have some other things going on.
What are they going to win? What can we get? What can we get for them?
I don't know. We're gonna have to take a look.
There's some fun stuff we could get for them.
Yeah, we'll have a little fun with that. And additionally, I'm looking into maybe doing a version of the show on Sunday mornings.
What?
On Instagram TV.
What the shit is Instagram TV?
I'm thinking about it just for something else, somewhere else to be.
Yeah.
Give you guys some more content. And it'll be kind of like
on a Sunday morning, trying to roster through my picks, drinking water. I don't know who to put it.
It'll be just a short show, but on mobile, so you can watch it wherever you are, and also give you some last minute updates on team tips, injuries.
Well, there's always a bunch of Sunday morning scramble, right? There's always like, oh shit, someone's hurt, someone's not playing.
That's right. So look for that and more, but definitely look for the Discord in a few weeks, starting on September 5th. We will have that hooked up.
Yep.
And, I just look forward to another, well, if you count these weeks and some of the playoffs,
couple 100,000 weeks,
25 weeks, I want to say.
Right. Yeah.
So 25 weeks. Fantasy Football Podcast Season 2.
Oh my God.
Thank you guys for watching. Remember, lows never stop improving. And we will see you on the flippity flop.
That's our new catchphrase. See you on the flippity flop.
Good night.
Bye.